AI minds, quantum leaps. Cut the noise, dive deep. Truth unlocked. Dr. Mike on the mic. Tech Unfiltered is on the clock. Now it's time for the show.
There is one central tension worth paying attention to. The Americans who use artificial intelligence most often are also becoming some of the people most worried about it. Young adults are heavy users of chatbots, but their confidence in where this technology is heading is falling. Pew Research Center published a new analysis today based on its American Trends panel. The survey included 3,488 U.S. adults interviewed during the last week of June. It is designed to represent the national adult population. For the first time in Pew's trend data, a majority of adults under 30 say the growing role of AI in daily life makes them more concerned than excited. The share is 55%. In 2021, it was 31%. It rose to 39% in 2024, 51% last year, and 55% now. Excitement moved in the other direction. 25% of young adults were more excited than concerned in 2021. Today, that share is 11%. Across all adults, 52% are more concerned than excited, up from 37% in 2021. This is not only a young person pattern. 59% of adults 65 and older are more concerned than excited. What makes the under 30 group stand out is the direction and speed of the change. They once looked more optimistic than older adults. That gap has largely disappeared. Then there is the jobs question. Pew asked what AI will do to the total number of jobs in the United States over the next 20 years. 71% said it will lead to fewer jobs, up from 64% in 2024. Among adults under 30, 73% expect fewer jobs, up from 61% 2 years ago. That does not mean 71% of jobs will disappear. It means 71% of the people surveyed believe the country will end up with fewer jobs. This is a carefully measured expectation, not an employment forecast and not a count of people already displaced. The tension becomes clearer when we look at use. Pew's broader June research found that 66% of adults ages 18 to 29 had used AI chatbots, the highest share of any age group. Many of the same people who use these tools also expect negative effects on society or on themselves. That is not necessarily hypocrisy. Frequent users see both the convenience and the limits. They watch a chatbot produce a useful draft, and they also watch it state something false with complete confidence. They may save time on one task, then discover that school or work expects twice as much output. Use, comfort, and distrust can exist at the same time. Other surveys point in a similar direction. Gallup used different questions and found that 47% of adults ages 18 to 29 now say AI does more harm than good, up from 36% last year. Trust that businesses will use AI responsibly fell among young adults, while the share expressing no trust rose. Axios also reported on a Generation Lab poll of adults ages 18 to 34. 27% said they or someone they knew had lost a job because an employer replaced that person with AI. That is a self-reported belief about personal networks, not a verified administrative count. Axios noted that research suggests the actual share of AI-caused losses is smaller. The same poll found heavy chatbot use and growing comfort. Once again, concern and adoption were living side by side. So, what does the labor market evidence show? The honest answer is that researchers do not yet agree on the size of the effect. Stanford's Digital Economy Lab used high-frequency payroll data and found that early career workers, ages 22 to 25, in the most AI-exposed occupations experienced a 16% relative decline in employment after generative AI became widely used. The pattern was concentrated in some software development and customer support work. The researchers described the result as consistent with an AI effect, not proof that AI caused every observed decline. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas found an important detail. The weakness among young workers in highly exposed occupations appeared more through fewer people entering those jobs than through layoffs. In other words, the first sign may not be someone leaving with a cardboard box. It may be an entry-level opening that is never posted or never filled. Other research is more cautious. Yale's budget lab found no clear economy-wide relationship between common measures of AI exposure or usage and changes in employment or unemployment. The Economic Policy Institute found that 85% of young college graduates work in occupation groups with recent employment growth. It also found similar increases in unemployment among young workers with and without four-year degrees, even though college graduates are more concentrated in AI-exposed work. Those findings can all be true. AI may weaken hiring in a narrow group of entry-level occupations while remaining difficult to detect in national totals. The broader labor market is also affected by interest rates, slower job turnover, sector changes, and ordinary business cycles. Separating those forces takes time and better data. There is another reason to be careful. Researchers measure AI exposure by examining the tasks inside an occupation, but exposure is not the same as adoption. A customer support job may contain tasks a model can perform while the employer has not deployed that model effectively. Another company may use the same technology to help workers answer difficult questions rather than reduce headcount. The result depends on the tool, the workplace, the business model, and the choices made by managers. We also have to ask who receives any gains. If AI raises productivity, the benefit might appear as higher wages, shorter hours, lower prices, larger profits, or simply higher expectations. Those outcomes are not interchangeable. Public concern will remain understandable if people see faster output, but do not experience more security, more time, or a clearer path into a career. The most important risk may be the first rung of the career ladder. Beginner work often includes routine tasks, reading documents, fixing simple bugs, preparing a first draft, or answering basic support questions. Those tasks matter because they are how people gain judgment and experience. If organizations automate the training work without replacing the training path, they may save money now and create a shortage of experienced workers later. So here are 4 practical steps. First, separate exposure from destiny. A job is a bundle of tasks. Identify the parts that require judgment, accountability, physical presence, or a relationship with someone who must trust you. Second, build evidence that you can work with AI without outsourcing your thinking. Save examples where you verified an answer, caught an error, handled an edge case, improved the result, and accepted responsibility for it. The durable skill is not simply writing a prompt. It is knowing when the system is wrong and what to do next. Third, ask your employer or school about the first rung. If beginner tasks are automated, where will supervised practice come from? Apprenticeships, rotations, mentoring, and carefully designed projects become more important, not less. Fourth, follow hiring data instead of slogans. Watch openings, entry rates, hours, wages, and role changes by age and occupation. A missing opportunity and a layoff are different mechanisms, and they require different responses. The bottom line is measured but serious. The change in public mood is real. There are warning signs in highly exposed entry-level work. The size, cause, and future direction of the employment effect remain unsettled. Young adults are not irrational to be concerned. They are using the technology, seeing its value, and asking who will have control over the benefits and the costs. That is a question employers, schools, technology companies, and policymakers should answer with evidence, not reassurance alone. Until next time, take care.